is to give you a little background. I still find people today, as I'm getting out in the community and talking, that they don't even know anything about this. And that's what the Board of Commissioners want. Let me back up. A lot of the things that I say tonight, I will say to you as an individual, not as a county commissioner. I will inform you on what's going on in the county as a county commissioner. My opinions are Walter's opinions, not the opinions of the board. So I'd like to make that clear. I'd like to make it clear for purposes of the video, because when I make statements about certain things, there will be those that says, no, that's not the way it is, or no, that's not the way we feel. So when it comes to opinion, that's Walter's opinion, okay? So I just want to make that clear. Okay, so let me back up and give you a little bit of the history of where we were and how we got to where we are today. So in, I guess, 2012 or 13, we started seeing some things happening in the county that needed a little more review before they got approved for opening business. So the current Board of Commissioners at that time, which was Brian, myself, Pam, Mike Cross, and Sal. And we decided that, I think maybe Sarah was gone by then, wasn't she or not? She was gone by then. So we decided to ask the staff what options we have as Board of Commissioners to address our concerns. So we had, let me give you a couple examples. We had a gun range open up in the edge of Pittsburgh, just outside Pittsburgh, that was close to an animal refuge. We had a request for a mining permit for a rock quarry in the edge of Gulfston in the town. We had a request to expand an asphalt plant in the Rosebud community. We have a lot of things happening in the county that affected people and their livelihoods where they live. So we said to the staff, we said, we need an opportunity to review those things and give them an extra look, because they're going in areas that are unzoned. And in unzoned areas of the county, there's no restrictions. I mean, you can build what you want to, you can put a business where you want to, you can do anything you want to, with the exception of the inspections that have to take place with building and electrical and things of that nature. But as far as location, you don't have to ask anyone's permission. So the problem that created is that when you have a rock quarry that ends up in an unzoned area of the county, or a gun range that ends up in an unzoned area of the county, they just go in up and up. Well, are people that probably may not want a rock quarry, or may not want a gun range right next to them. Now, there's nothing wrong with a rock quarry. We need them. I mean, we've got to have the rocks to build the industrial park that's being built. We've got to have the rocks for the highways. We've got to have rocks for other things. So there's nothing wrong with that industry. There's nothing wrong with a gun range. In fact, I'm a gun owner myself. Love to shoot guns. I'm fortunate enough that on my farm I've got enough room I can shoot guns and not bother anybody. Some aren't that fortunate and they need a gun range. So there's nothing wrong with any one of those items other than, itself. What happens is when it's in certain areas, it needs a second look. So we asked the staff, we said, what can we do as Board of Commissioners that gives us an opportunity to review industries that are wanting to go in unzoned areas? So, because obviously these things need attention. So the staff we asked the staff and they came back to us with about 4 options. And I'll read you the 4 options and then I'll tell you kind of what we had in mind. One of the options is do absolutely nothing. Just let it go like it is. And the other option was to extend zoning with an open use district, to adopt a heavy industrial use ordinance, and fourthly, to extend traditional zoning. And after much discussion, at the direction of the staff and among the board members, we decided that probably the best route to take would be to consider open use, which means you don't actually zone like you think traditional zoning is. You choose particular industries or particular concerns and address those. For instance, gun range might have to come and apply for a business license or apply to open up just like you would if you're going in a zoned area, even though it's an unzoned area of the county. Rock quarry, even though it might be going in an unzoned part of the county, they would have to come in and do an application. It would come before the board for review so that the board would have an opportunity to say, you know, that's kind of close to a school, or that's right in the edge of town, or maybe there's some other situation that warrants it not be located there. So they said that's the best way to address it. We thought, well, that's good. So now what we need to do is every area in the county is a little bit different. Chatham County is made up of 707 square miles. There's a lot of diversity in Chatham County. From the northeastern corner of the state, of the county, right near Wake Orange, Durham County, all the way down to the southwest corner in the Bonnelly, Bear Creek, Goldston, Bennett area. So everybody's going to want a little something different. So we said, okay, if that's the case then, let's go to the communities. Let's have community meetings. Let's tell them what we're thinking. Let's get their input. Let's let them tell us what they want their community to look like. So you're the one that decides. Because Bennett area might not want the same thing as say Montour. Or Bonnelly and Goldston might not want the same thing as Siler City or Silcote. Or every area is a little bit different. People want different things. So we said, let's have community meetings. Let's get the people involved. Let's get them engaged. Let's tell them what we're thinking. And let's let them decide what they want their district or area to look like. We had a plan. That was late in 2014. Then came the election in November. And then the new board of commissioners took office in December. To begin with, they were on board. They said, you know what, it's a step in the right direction. Let's move forward. We'll have the community meetings. And it wasn't long after that they started appointing planning board members. Someone suggested, let's stop, and I don't know who, but they suggested, let's stop the community meetings. Let's let the planning board decide what the zoning should look like. So the task, the board, the current board voted 3-2 to do that. Two of us decided, no, we don't need to stop the community meetings, but the other three says, we're going to stop the community meetings and we're going to let the planning board decide. Well, when I say decide, what they'll do is they'll do their own research, they'll come to their own conclusion, and they'll make recommendations to the board of commissioners. And the board of commissioners will, will opt to either accept or decline their recommendations. So then the planning board says, okay, they were ready to move full steam ahead. In fact, there was talks about they would do an interim zoning by this summer. Because to do zoning, traditional zoning, as it should be done, you got to have a land use plan. And that takes 18 to 24 months. They wanted to do something right now, so they felt like the quickest way to get something done was do an interim zoning. So that was the direction they were headed in. A lot of people started coming out to meetings like this. And they said, you know what, maybe we need to slow down here just a bit and listen a little bit. And thank goodness they did. So they put the brakes on. They even changed the name of the subcommittees. They will argue they didn't, but if you go back and read the meetings, the subcommittees were called, help me out, Brian, do you remember the original name? It's called the Interim Zoning Committee. Interim Zoning Committee, and then now they're changing it to something else. Anyway, they softened the blow a little bit by changing the name of it, and they're saying that now open use they're considering as an option. Now, at the time they voted down the community meetings, they said that was, originally they thought that was a step in the right direction, and they were ready to move forward with it, but then after a month or so in office, they decided that wasn't quite aggressive enough. They needed traditional zoning for the whole county, countywide zoning. And in order to get that done, they do interim zoning by the summertime. Well, now folks, we all know interim doesn't really mean interim. Once it's in place, it won't go away. So, but people started getting involved, so they backed off just a little bit. And there are meetings like this going on around the county with groups everywhere. And they're starting to get involved and get engaged. So what my purpose is tonight is to let you know where we are today, how we got to where we are, and where I see us going. In fact, Brian and maybe Gene or somebody can talk a little bit about the planning board. But you need to understand what I feel like some of the concerns are. They're going to tell you that agriculture is not affected. They're going to tell you that you can't zone agriculture. It's not. It won't be affected in any way. But that's not true. It will be affected. And let me explain how it will be affected. For instance, and I'm going to use my personal experiences, okay? And I'll mention some others too, but I'll use my personal experiences. I have a business on Wally Bennett Road. We do generator sales and service. Big diesel, loud running generators. And if that business has nothing to do with agriculture, but it's on an agricultural farm. And so if that business, now if they were to zone, would be grandfathered in, and it would be allowed to be there. But let's say it was not there, and they zone agriculture. Then what that means is anything other than agriculture has to come before the planning board to give you authorization to do anything. So if that business were not there, I would have to go to the planning board and I'd say, look, I want to open a business, I want to open a generator business, and I want it next to my home. I want it next to my home because I don't need to be in an industrial park. I want it next to my home because I don't have walk-in trade. I want it next to my home because I run loud generators. Loud generators in an industrial park would disturb a neighboring business. I don't want it in an industrial park and in town because sometimes we work late at night and run loud generators. I don't want it in an industrial park because I'm just getting started and the cost of a big facility in town and industrial park is expensive. I've already got this building right here I can move into. It won't cost me near as much money to get started. So that's what I want to do. So those are all the decisions that go into making, that are considered when making a business or opening a business, or into opening a business. And so if you zone it, those options are taken away from you as a business owner. Because now if you zone agriculture, even though you can't zone agriculture, you zone an area for agriculture, that's all that could be there. Now they say anything that's ag-related can be there. But who defines that? To give you some examples, in the county right now we've got Wilson Trucking right here on 902. We've got Southern Spring right down here off the main road. We've got Tucker Welding over here on 902. We've got businesses all over the county like that, in the rural areas of the county. And they're there because that's where people wanted to put them. And if you zone this agriculture, you've got to go ask permission how you want to use your land for businesses like that. So that's the unintended consequences that concerns me about just traditional zoning. So we're saying instead of doing traditional zoning, let's look at industries that are concerned. Let's do targeted ordinances. Let's take gun ranges, for instance, and rock quarries, for instance, and mining, and landfills, and things like that. Let's take the short list that we know might be a concern, and let's address those issues. And let's not try to do the big, broad, sweeping approach that they're trying to do, because it's all about control. It's all about control. And everybody, or most everybody, I think, can agree on the areas that are concerned. So let's concentrate on those areas. So when that debate came up, they said, "Oh no, we'll try to figure out what businesses would fit, and we'll go ahead and identify those, and we'll put them in the ordinance, and it'll all be." How can you possibly determine what potential there might be for a business in an area 10 years from now, 20 years from now, for a certain part of the county? You can't. So what we wanted to do was come to you with these community meetings and let you tell us what you wanted your area to look like. Let you decide what areas of concern there were, and then the ordinances could be written around that. But the current board doesn't want to do it that way. And so we've been fighting over that, trying to put a stop to it, trying to slow it down, because if they ever get the interim zoning in place, it won't go away. It just won't go away. It's just like any tax that's ever been levied on us. They say that every tax should have a sunset date, and after we get this debt paid off or that debt paid off, this tax will go away. It won't go away. the interim zoning won't go away. That's just the way it works.